All right. Think I got everything. All right, let's talk. By the way, sorry for being late. Um, but let's get right into it. All right. So let's talk about it. So let's talk about the men's out here, right? Where a lot of men think that when they get rejected because maybe they think to themselves, "Oh, I'm not attractive enough," right? But most of the time, you only get rejected because they're chasing too much. And so there's a fine line. There's a difference between pursuing a woman with confidence and needing a woman based off validations. So one is more masculine, the other one is more so emotional dependency, where he feels like, oh, I need her to validate me so I can feel good about myself. And the moment, right? And the moment a man starts abandoning himself to keep a woman interested, attraction starts dying. He slips into this people pleasing type of behavior. So, if you're new here, my name is Mitchell. I'm a relationship coach. And in today's live video, I'll be talking about why chasing women makes men less attractive. So let's talk about the first one, all right? So the strongest men don't chase attention, they attract through their purpose. What does that mean? Chasing comes from fear of loss, not confidence in his own self. So a man pursuing a woman at first is masculine. So what I mean by that is if you see a woman and you are interested in her, you should go and introduce yourself and just, create a conversation so that you could get her number and then get her out on a date if she is interested in you. And a man needing a woman for validations to feel valuable is where attraction starts to diminish. It starts to die. Masculine energy moves with direction, it moves with confidence, and he's steady. He's emotionally steady. Feminine energy, on the other hand, is naturally drawn towards strength, certainty, and emotional security. But on the other hand, when a man starts over pursuing, like double texting constantly, needing reassurance, over explaining himself, trying too hard to impress her, abandoning his own purpose, that communicates that I'm afraid to lose you because I don't fully value myself. And so that energy is very emotionally unstable. um, Women may not say it in that way, but they feel it for sure, 100%. And so a grounded man, a grounded guy would think, I want you, but I don't need you to validate me. I don't need you to justify my own feelings. So because pursuing first, when a man pursues first, he sees a girl, he sees a lady, and he goes and approaches her. Pursuing first is very masculine. It shows you know what you want, you go after what you want, you're not fearful of being rejected. That's masculine. That's attractive. Desperation is insecurity. So attraction dies when approval becomes the goal. So when a man is unsure of himself and where he stands with her, it's going to be displayed through his words, his tone, and his actions. And so a man with purpose does not orbit around or sit around waiting for a woman. Women become a part of his life, not the center of his life. And so let's talk about the second part, which is confidence is not she must like me. Confidence is I'll be fine if she doesn't. And so rejection only destroys the men who tie their whole worth or their identity to a woman. So a lot of men fear rejection because they interpret it as, well, I'm not good enough. If she doesn't like me, I'm not good enough, or I lost, or maybe I'm undesirable. But masculine energy understands that rejection is compatibility, not disapproval. So masculine men don't crumble after rejection because they already have an identity within themselves. They have self-direction, they have self-respect outside of this whole dating. So, and see, when a man acts like this is my only chance. If I don't get her, this is my only chance, right? She's so special even before meeting her. She's so, like basically putting her on a pedestal or placing himself below her. What that conveys is that he isn't worthy of leadership. that lacks and that lack a lot of confidence. And so the two things, and that's the two things that most women are attracted to. It's confidence, okay, and going after what you want, like knowing what you want and going after it. And so a centered guy, a centered man, if it's mutual, he says, it's great. It's great if it's mutual. I like you and I want to get to know you, but it's okay if you don't. And if life continues, it's all right. And then that type of calmness is attractive because it signals to her that, hey, you know what? I have abundance. I'm emotionally in control of my emotions. And I have self belief that if you don't want me, eventually another lady will. So, what my coach would say, Coach Corey Wayne, shout out to you. But there's a bus every 10 to 15 minutes, meaning it's okay if you don't like me. I'll still be all right. Let's move on to the next. And so emotionally healthy men understand options exist. Scarcity creates needy type of behavior, and abundance create calm behavior. So if a woman leans towards a man for certainty and he's already kind of unsure of himself from the beginning, what makes you think that she's going to be more attracted to him moving forward? And so she's going to lose a lot of attraction. And now, number three, when a man abandons himself to keep a woman, she eventually stops respecting him. Give me one second. And so, self sacrifice without self respect breeds contempt. And many guys, many men believe that if I just give enough, if I just did enough, if I'm always available, or if I'm more available to her, or if I just keep proving myself, then she will love me more. No, I'm not. Not currently. And so attraction works the opposite way. Why? Because feminine energy often wants to feel desired. She wants to know that, hey, does he like me? Is he going to go after what he wants? So feeling desired. Pursues initially, so he goes first. And she feels emotionally safe around him. But also, like, the most important thing is that she wants to respect the man that she is with. And that's very important. If she does not respect you, she's not going to love you. All right. Listen to that. And so when a man starts abandoning boundaries, his own standards, his own discipline, self respect, or the things that he wants to go after, like his mission, or even just things that makes him happy, for the sake of keeping her happy, he slowly loses the grounded type of masculine energy that he possesses. And so that's what kind of ruins it in a relationship. No matter how much you do for a woman, if feelings aren't going both ways, things don't work out, it's better to find that out sooner rather than later. Yeah. Well, you don't want to be with someone that you're not interested in. So, but you have to understand attraction is not a choice. And for most guys, they don't understand exactly, like, oh, maybe, here's an example. I love my Pokemon cards. Okay. I love Pokemon. I love collecting my shoes from time to time. But she's like, yo, Mitchell, don't you think you're a little bit too old to collect Pokemon cards? Like, it's a make believe cartoon stuff, right? Or maybe I like concerts, and it's like, oh, you go to too many concerts, yada yada yada. Like, okay, so basically I just oblige and I step away from the things because you know what? If she says I play too much Pokemon or I get too much shoes or I go to too many concerts, whatever it may be, that type of thinking, taking a step back and be like, you know what, I'll do this so that she will lay off my back just to please her. It it trains her to feel like, wow, I'm in control. Women do not want the control in the relationship. I'm gonna let you know that right now. She wants the man to lead. She wants the man to lead so that whenever she feels uncertain of herself, she could go lean on him and be like, okay, he will have an answer. Whether that answer is he going to listen to me so that it solves my problem? Or he might give me some valuable advice, whatever it may be. But most of the time, whenever women come to you, she just wants to talk about problems. And most guys should, if you're unsure, just listen. And so This is why nice guy syndromes, it backfires 100% of the time. This isn't, so I'm not saying that kindness is unattractive. Okay, I'm not saying that. But because approval seeking behavior disguised as kindness is unattractive. So basically you're setting yourself up for this people pleasing type of behavior, right? You're conveying that she's above you and that you're unworthy. So no matter how much she says that she wants it or that she likes that, women do not want the control in a relationship. She does not want the control. She doesn't want to lead. She wants you to lead. Okay. So understand that. I'm talking about a happy, healthy, feminine woman. All right. Now, they want a man to lead. She craves for that type of certainty, as I said before. When life feels uncertain for her, she comes to you. So you're basically that rock in the ocean for her. She comes to you for answers or solutions, whatever it may be, a sounding board. So real masculinity says, I care about you deeply. I care about you, but I won't betray myself just so that I could keep you. So he's not going to forget about his own purpose. He's going to go on to do the things that he has to do, whether she likes it or not. It's like, well, this is my purpose. I'm not giving up my purpose just so that I could please you. That is attractive to her. She might not like it, but how she responds and what she says sometimes are two different things. So now that creates respect. And where respect goes, love follows. Last one. A man becomes more attractive when his life is full without hers. I'm going to say that one more time. A man becomes more attractive when his life is full without hers. So you're not going into a relationship to complete each other. You're there to share each other's completeness, if that makes sense. So women are attracted to men moving towards something meaningful. Masculine energy is naturally directional. So he already know exactly where he wants to go. And he moves towards that with purpose, with growth, creation, challenge, and discipline. And so a man obsessed with a woman usually loses attractiveness or her interest because think about it. His world becomes way too small. It's like it's only about her. It's not bigger than why you're here. You know what I'm saying? And so his focus becomes more emotional dependency. And he's like, oh, I wonder I wonder what she's thinking about. I wonder how she's feeling about me. Like that in her world is too small. Like you're not going after the things that you want. So in other words, you're not growing. He stops growing or there's too little growth. And then he prioritizes attention over his purpose. And so, like I said, his world becomes smaller and smaller just so that he could please her, just to make her happy. So, but men, on the other hand, I'm talking about masculine men who are in shape, who are ambitious, emotionally composed, okay, socially fulfilled, and very disciplined because discipline equals freedom. Building something meaningful for himself tend to attract women naturally because that's the type of energy that says, look, my life already has momentum with or without you. So, in other words, it's the guy, he pursues her, he conveys, he's like, look, I basically, you're not going to say this, but it's like, look, I already have a life of my own. And it's like, would you care to join? This is already what I'm doing. I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing, but you can come join me if you like. Why? Because I have interest in you and I would like to get to know you. And that's it. And so if you think about it like this, it happens at her own pace. So men, we need to learn how to pace ourselves. Women don't want to feel like they are a man's entire identity. Okay. So she, like I said, she may say she want it, but how she responds is going to be completely different. And that's the type of pressure that makes her become emotionally exhausting. It's like it's too much pressure for her. She feels trapped. She does not want to be a part of that. It's like, go handle your own shit as a man. Now, but when a man has his purpose first, he focuses on his purpose, relationship becomes much healthier because he chooses from desire. not desperation. So a lot of guys, when they want to get into a relationship, they're thinking about, damn, I want her. It's coming out of desperation, not from desire. And that's usually conveyed through constant texting, finding out where he stands with her, things like that. And so to her, she's like, I don't want that type of man in my life. She's not attracted to him. Why else do you think why else do you think women love being around or wants that celebrity? It's because they already have a purpose. They're going after what they want. And on top of that, they're creative. They're on stage. They're performing. That's taking a risk. Not a lot of people feel comfortable being on stage. And so it's like that's attractive to them. It's like, wow, that person is attractive. So, like I said, when a man has a purpose, it becomes much healthier being in that relationship. But like I said, don't get that twisted, okay? Don't get it confused without the balance of still giving that girl or your wife more attention because you need to give her time, you got to give her attention because she number 1, two biggest reason why most relationship falls apart is because he stopped dating and courting her and she never feels heard and understood. Most of the time she will leave a relationship a- after her constantly telling you like, "Hey, you don't listen, you don't listen." And so what does that mean for men? It means that men needs to learn how to take a step back and just listen. Ask good quality questions. So when my girl, she asks a lot of questions, I ask, she's telling me something about what happened, whether it's at work or something just came up. I just sit and I listen and I like to ask questions like, what happened? What else? And so she talks. Women, I understand women like to solve the problems by talking about things. Men, we kind of like to hide out on our like man caves, if you will, or basically self isolate. So, like I said, don't get it twisted, right? Don't get it twisted without like there still needs that time and balance. Yes, you got to go for your mission and your purpose, but also you still have to give her some time and attention. Don't I never teach men to ignore women. Like that's not what you do. You don't ignore women. You allow them to come to you. And when they do, whether it's a dating or maybe in a long-term relationship, whatever it may be, you listen to her and you be like, "Hey, let's do something like let's go and do something fun together." Like in the beginning stages, hey, if she's reaching out to you, then you set up a time and date, a definite date, so that you could go out and court her and see whether or not you two are compatible. Like you still going in with the intent of, is she worthy of my time? Not that you're gonna put her below you. You're not gonna put her above you, but you're also not thinking like, damn, what does she offer to me that is going to benefit the both of us? And so men become attractive not when they chase harder, but when they become harder to shake from their purpose. And so no matter what you do, whatever you set on this earth to do, whatever it may be, you're not going to be shaken from your purpose. You're going to still go with what you do. And that is what's attractive. And so let's talk about masculine energy, right? Well, masculine energy doesn't beg for validation. It pursues with confidence and accepts rejection with maturity and never abandons himself just so that he could be chosen. And so the goal isn't to make every woman like you. The goal is to respect yourself whether she does like you or not. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you on the next slide.